Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on in the markets? Well, Donald Trump, he says to buy stocks right now. Just made an amazing deal with the UK. And we got talks starting with China. Hurry up and get in. Buy stocks right now. The Donald says to buy them, right? We've rallied 18% off the low. Now we're hitting resistance there right at the 200-day. Now we may overshoot that, right? And if we get above it, then we're going to head up to the new record highs. I do believe that we will eventually push up to the new record highs, but we've pretty much gone straight up for 18%. I expect a little bit of a pullback soon, and then we're going to push it up to that new record high, because that's what they do, right? You can tell the liquidity is still in the marketplace. You can look at the HYG, the junk bonds, they're up at the record high, right? There's still liquidity out there. That's what's pushing Bitcoin up over 100,000 again, right? A lot of liquidity still in the marketplace. We're going to push it up to a new record high one more time, but there's going to be a big rug pull coming, Now, Trump, he also called, well, his exact words, I think, were the fool was too stupid to lower interest rates. The fool was too stupid to lower interest rates. Now, of course, he's talking about Jerome Powell. Now, Jerome Powell came out and said the reason he's not lowering interest rate is because he sees a risk of inflation coming back. Really? Really? You think, Jerome? Look, in my opinion, we're still up around 10% on the inflation scale. I just got back from Costco, and I think that went up 20% just in the last couple weeks. Maybe that's the tariffs starting to kick in. I don't know exactly what it is, but Jerome also said that he's worried that unemployment might kick back up again. We'll see how that all plays out, but I think he's got good concerns. But Trump's calling him the fool. I mean, Trump's playing him like a little fiddle, right? He's just playing with Jerome. Poor Jerome, he's in a no-win situation. But here's what I really find fascinating, right? Here's where the real risk is. The real risk is the bond market, right? The bond market, the risk is that they're going to default. Now, this is what they're talking about. And I can't believe they're talking about this, but they're talking about defaulting only to foreigners. Now, technically, they're not going to call it a default. For example, let's say a foreigner has bought a bond. Let's say it's a 5-year bond, and let's say it's paying them 4%. Okay, so what we do to that poor foreigner is we go, we're going to pay you back, but not in 5 years. We're going to now make that bond a 30-year bond, and you're not going to get 4% interest. You're going to get 1% interest. And technically, they're saying that this would not be a default in the bond market. And don't worry if you're a U.S. citizen owning bonds. They're only going to default to all the foreigners, because we're in a trade war, which is really a financial war, right? So it's okay if we don't pay them back. I mean, we already stole Russia's money. That's why the reserve currency is in a lot of trouble. Now, a lot of people laugh at me for buying gold and silver, right? A lot of people laugh at me for that, and that's okay. Now, why do I do it? I do it because the dollar is going away. You see, the bond market's broken. You can do the math, 37 trillion in debt, 120 in unfunded liabilities. We're printing 2 to 4 trillion a year that we don't have. There's no way in the world that the bond market ever gets paid back without hyperinflation. So we could hyperinflate, or we could default. Now, technically, that's not a default what we're going to do to the poor foreigners that own our bonds, because the foreigners, they don't want our bonds anymore. Nobody wants our bonds anymore. Have you noticed that? Okay, central banks around the world, their tier one assets used to be cash and used to be bonds, and they had about 86% in bonds and the rest was in cash, right? Well, now that 86% has gone down to 50%, a little over 50% technically, but what if they replace it with the new tier one asset? The only other tier one asset besides cash, bonds is now gold, right? So gold, they're buying that as fast as they can. What are they dumping to buy the gold? They're dumping the bond market because they see the writing on the wall. There's no way we can pay this back, right? Now people say, okay, but Mike, that's why you buy gold. Why you buy silver? I buy silver because it's the cheapest asset on the planet right now. It's the cheapest asset out there. Look, you're paying what, $30 in change, let's call it $33 for an ounce of silver, right? Now, the reason I buy that is because the dollar is failing. The dollar is going to go to zero. The dollar is going to go away. Now, you can do the Fed's numbers, right? Fed started back in 1913. A dollar was worth a dollar. You know what a dollar was in 1913? 1 ounce of silver, right? 1 ounce of silver. Now, it's lost 99% of its purchasing power. This isn't my number. Go on the Federal Reserve site and look it up for yourself. 99% got wiped out. So that dollar silver should not be an ounce for a dollar, should be an ounce for $100 because we lost 99% of the purchasing power. The other number that's very fascinating to me is silver is now 100 to 1, 100 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold, right? That's extremely, extremely high. Now, I believe with all my heart that that will revert back to 30 to 1. 30 to 1 would be a tripling of silver if gold just stayed here at the $3,300 level. Had a little pullback, right? We were at $3,500. Now we're down to $3,300. Okay, a little bit of pullback. But we're still 100 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. Now, I think gold will get up to 5,000, will get up to 10,000. Now, people were laughing at me. They were just laughing. They thought it was the funniest thing when I was buying, $300 gold. And it wasn't that long ago. Let's call it 20 years ago. 20 years ago, gold was selling for $300. I tell my friends they should pick some up. They were just laughing at me. You know what they called me when it was $1,700 and I was buying it hand over fist as fast as I could find it? You know what they're calling me? Stupid. They're saying, but Mike, you're stupid to be buying it at $1,700. Well, right now, you get for an ounce of gold, you got to pay about $3,500. $3,300 is the spot price, going about $200 over spot for the physical. You see, the spot price is not the physical. Soon there's not going to be a bid on the GLD. It's just going to go away. They'll have no bid. But you know what? Nobody will be selling any physical. You see, people say, is it too late to get in up here at $3,500? The retail buyers are not there. There's no retail buyers at this level. This is all central banks buying. When are the retail buyers going to start to come in? My guess would be around 5,000 to 10,000. The retail herd will come over and they'll be dying to get it. But right now, they think it's ludicrous. They think it's insane. There's no retail buyers out there at this $3,500 level. Yes, I'm still buying. Yes, I'd like to see a pullback. I'd like to see a pullback down to 3,000. Pulled back down to 3,300 on the spot. Spot was up at 3,500. Now it's down around 3,300. Will it get down to 3,000? I hope so. I don't think so, though. Maybe we get lucky, right? That's a gift when it happens. Maybe silver goes below $30 again. That's a gift. But you see, what's fascinating to me, and this is I find very funny, the people that are going to be buying the gold up at $8,000, $10,000 an ounce, they don't even know they're going to be buying it. What are they in right now? They're in those Magnificent Seven stocks, right? What are they in right now? They're in the Bitcoin stocks. Bitcoin back over 100,000. Don't get me wrong. Bitcoin's going to go up and hit a new record high. Probably get to 120,000, right? Another 20% from here before the big rug pull. But these are what they're buying right now. And they're saying, this is where I want to be. They don't want to be in this gold stuff over here. They're going to wait for it to get up to 10,000 an ounce to dump all their stuff as their stuff starts to plummet and be diving in, be piling in. That's what pushes the price of gold up to 10,000 is the herd comes along. But I don't think gold will end at 10,000. No. I don't think so. I think they're going to reset this. I think Donald's going to reset this before he gets out of office, before Donald Trump leaves office in 3 or 4 years, whatever it is, right? Okay, maybe he gets another term, King Donald, right, everybody? I don't see that happening. I don't want that to happen. I think we need some younger blood to get in the office of the president. I'm tired of 80-year-old presidents. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of them. I want some young blood in there. But anyways, I think it will reset on his terms. And on his term, I think eventually the first reset won't work. Don't trade any of your gold in then. No. You hold hold on to that. They'll offer you something. Market price will be 8,000. Hey, we'll give you 10,000 for all your gold. No, you hold on to that. You wait, because it's going to go. Numbers are just going to skyrocket. Nobody can tell for sure. At these levels, 40,000 is about where it should be hit. $40,000 for now. People say I'm crazy, right? They were saying I'm crazy when I was buying it at 300. Mike, you're a fool. You're just a fool. You're like that Jerome Powell guy, a fool. Well, maybe I was. It worked out okay for me so far. We'll see. But yes, I think 40,000 is in the cards, but I think it'll be much higher than that. The reason is because the dollar's failing. It's nothing to do with the price of gold going up. An ounce of gold is always going to be equal to an ounce of gold. What's falling is the dollar. The dollar's going to go away. When it gets down to zero, there's no amount of dollars that you can take to trade for an ounce of gold. That's why I know it's not too late. You can still take your fiat currency and go buy an ounce of gold. That's what you should be doing right now. But don't worry, nobody's doing it. I'm not expecting you to do it. I know a lot of people, it's out of reach at $3,500. But if $33 for an ounce of silver is out of reach, you might want to change your lifestyle. You might want to cut back on those Starbucks coffee or wherever you're spending your money, because everybody should be able to come up with $33. Put one of those away a week. I'm telling you, you do you, I'll do me, but that will help you out in the long run. I really believe it. But the people that are going to be buying gold at $8,000 to $10,000 an ounce, they don't even know they're going to be buying it yet. They don't even know there's a problem yet. They don't even know the dollar is going away yet. You see, our government is insolvent. It's insolvent. That's why these tariffs are there. They can say it's for the trade war. I don't think they're ever going to take them all the way off. It's now another tax on us that they can put in their coffers. They're out of money. And don't worry, that Donald, he's got a great plan now, right? He's going to sell off parts of Nevada. He's going to sell land in Nevada, government-owned land. He's going to sell that off. Going to sell some land in Utah. And when he sells this land, it's going to raise $18 billion. Do you realize the whole state of Wisconsin one time sold for $25,000? Now we're going to raise some money by selling some Nevada land, by selling Utah land. And hey, we need the money. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think we should be selling off the land. And to raise $18 billion, we spend that it'll take about 1 week for us to spend that money. Maybe we should hold up on the land and stop spending so much. Maybe we need a spending plan. Oh, he's got a spending plan. $1.5 trillion to spending plans going into effect in September. There's going to be some goodies for a lot of people. A lot of fraud, a lot of stuff's going to be going on in that. Kind of scary to me, but it's not too late to start buying gold. You see, now here's the thing. A lot of people talk about, gold's too expensive at $3,500. And maybe it is. Would you like to buy gold for like under $100? Some of these junior miners have gold still in the ground, right? And some of these junior miners, you can get a share in them for under $1. I own many of them, right? Under $1, under $1. I own, 1,000 shares, 10,000 shares. I just throw money at different ones. They got the gold. It's in the ground. They're not mining it yet, though. They're not digging it out yet. That's why it's so cheap. So there are ways to accumulate cheap gold. And I think that's with the miners. The junior miners in particular are so beaten down, so oversold. But that's one way to get cheap gold. If you like gold, if you're not, just get some silver. Silver's dirt cheap at this price. I think silver, within the next 2 to 3 years, I think you're going to see triple-digit silver. And it's nothing to do with the silver. You understand that, right? It's to do with the dollar going away. You see, gold is telling us that the dollar is completely broken, right? It's completely broken. I mean, we're becoming like a third world country. It's really embarrassing, kind of like a banana republic, if you will. Think Zimbabwe, for example. What's happening? Our currency is going like this and gold is going like this. That's what happens in third world countries when the currency goes away, when the currency comes to an end. That's where the problems start, right? That's where the problems start, where you start to lose your country. Look, I'm sorry, but it's too late for the dollar. They got to come up with another solution. They have it. Central bank digital currency. It's not going to work either. It's just another form of a fiat dollar. Until they back it with gold to where you can take your dollars, bring them into the bank and say, I'd like my gold, please. Until they do that, I'm not parting with my gold. I'm holding on to it. And I think you should do the same. If you don't have any, my suggestion is you might look into it, see if you could get some. If you can't afford some gold, that's silver. That's dirt cheap. Look at who'd want to triple their money in 2 to 3 years. But Mike, I've been hearing that forever. For the last 20, 30 years, they've been saying that. Yeah, but it's different now. People love when people say that. It's different now. Look at the dollar. The dollar's the problem. The dollar's going away. Look, everybody thinks that gold's going to come crashing down with the stock market. I do believe the stock market's going to come crashing down. They say it's going to be just like 2008. Gold came right down with. Why? Because of the margin calls, right? But this time it's a little bit different. Gold's being held by the central banks. Gold is a tier one asset. It wasn't a tier one asset in 2008. Gold is not going to have that pullback that you're waiting for. If you want to get in, if we get to 3,000, that's a gift. I don't think we're going to get that low. We'll see if we do or not. Time will tell, right? But if we do, I'll be buying that as much as I can afford. I'm telling you, gold is headed higher. Silver is headed higher. These are the things that I'm invested in, real money. The dollar, look at the stock market can go higher in hyperinflation, but the dollar goes to zero. When you have to convert all that money into zero, you have zero, right? Gold is real. It's real wealth. Always been wealth for thousands and thousands of years. But Mike, we can put it in that Bitcoin stuff. You go out and buy it at 100,000. I tell you, you might have some regrets down the road. I hope it goes to 1 million for you. Michael Saylor says it's going to 30 million. That's cool, Michael Saylor. If you got an IQ of 20, follow Michael Saylor. That's all I got to say. Give me the thumbs up if you like this. Give me the hate if you're one of them people that just get so upset when I criticize poor Michael Saylor. Anyways, punch that subscribe button. Get out there, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.